Anwuli, the girl with the severe mouth odor. Long time ago, in a small village, there lived a beautiful girl named Anwuli. Anwuli had long, flowing hair and eyes that sparkled like the brightest stars in the night sky. One could say they saw beauty by setting their eyes on her. She was kind, gentle, and possessed a heart as pure as the crystal clear waters of the village stream. The village folk would say things about how only one person embodied both beauty and character all combined. Despite her outward beauty and inner kindness, Anwuli had one unfortunate flaw. She suffered from a chronic case of severe mouth odor, a severe case of halitosis only a few people had come across. No matter how many times she brushed her teeth, used mouthwash, or tried various remedies, the foul smell persisted, surrounding her like a dark cloud wherever she went. She would go as far as neighboring villages in the distance to obtain chewing sticks to brush her mouth and rid it of the foul smell. Awoli's condition became the subject of gossip and ridicule among the villagers. They whispered behind her back, making insulting remarks and avoiding her company whenever she came near. The worst part of it was, they would make it obvious to her she had the condition, and some even told her to her very face. The young men who once courted her turned their affections elsewhere, unable to bear the stench that emanated from her mouth. Apparently, their love had conditions and halitosis was a definite no-brainer. Over time, Anwuli grew accustomed to the loneliness and rejection that were constant companions of her affliction. She hated the fate life had imposed upon her, the life of solitude, finding solace in the company of the birds that chirped in the trees and the flowers that bloomed in the fields. At least if humans rejected, nature unconditionally accepted her. Regardless of her innocent misfortune, despite her sadness, she never lost her gentle spirit or her radiant smile. One day, a handsome and gallant prince named Chukebu arrived in the village. He had heard tales of Amoli's beauty and kindness and was determined to win her heart. Ignorant of her condition, he approached her with a wide smile, his heart brimming with hope and love. As Anwuli greeted the prince, the unpleasant scent of her breath hit him like a thunderbolt. Chikebu's face frowned in disgust and he stumbled backward, a look of horror in his eyes. He tried to compose himself, but the revolting odor overwhelmed his senses, leaving him gasping for fresh air. He almost fainted from this hard-hitting experience. I I am sorry, Anwuli, Chikebu stammered, his voice choked with emotion. I I cannot I cannot stay. Please forgive me. The villagers were surprised to see how cautious the prince was, expecting him to have vented outright anger at her from this discomfort and embarrassment. With that, the prince turned on his heel and fled from Anwuli's presence, leaving her standing alone. Tears raining down her cheeks, she watched him disappear into the distance. Her heart heavy with sorrow and regret. She hated herself for the kind of life she was living, for bringing so much sadness to the people who ought to have derived nothing less than joy and satisfaction from interacting with her. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, and months turned into years, but no suitor dared to approach Anwuli again. The villagers whispered that she was cursed, that her beauty was but a cover hiding a dark and veiled secret. Anwuli bore their judgment with grace and dignity, her spirit unbroken despite the weight of their scorn. She was not the kind of person to pay you back in your own coin. Then, one day, a mysterious figure arrived in the village. He was tall and cloaked in shadows, his features obscured by the hood of his long garment. Whispers spread like wildfire as the villagers speculated about his identity and purpose. Some said he was an agent of death, some said he was on a mission to unravel and deal with enemies of the king and the kingdom. Still, others said he was on a mission to identify and bless a deserving ones in the dream. Whatever it was that they thought, they ran their mouths wide. After all, they were free and moral agents with the freedom to make speculations, wide or wide. The stranger made his way to Anwoli's humble cottage, his footsteps silent as a whisper. He knocked on her door, and when she opened it, he gazed at her with eyes that seemed to see beyond the surface and into the depths of her soul. Everyone from Anwoli to the villagers were dumbfounded by this strange but seeming august visit. "I have traveled from afar, why to meet you, Anwoli," the stranger said, his voice deep and resonant. "I have heard of your beauty and your kindness, and I have come to offer you a gift." Anwoli regarded the stranger with curiosity and apprehension. Unsure of his intention, she had seen many people disappoint her in the past. Plus, she had also had experience of good intention towards her turn sour due to what was obviously an unpleasant aspect of nature. Regardless of her doubts, she invited him inside and offered him a seat at her table. The stranger reached into the folds of his garment and withdrew a small bottle filled with a faintly shining liquid. "This is a portion of my own creation," he explained. "It is a remedy that can cure any ailment, no matter how serious or persistent. I offered it to you as a gift, Anwoli, in the hope that it may bring you relief from your suffering." Anwoli's eyes widened in wonder as she accepted the bottle from the stranger's outstretched hand. She uncorked the bottle and hesitated for a moment, her heart pounding with hope and fear at the same time. With a deep breath, she raised the bottle to her lips and drank the tasteless concoction in one single gulp. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly but surely, a warm sensation spread through Anwoli's body, sending away the foul odor that had caught a turn from her for so long. She breathed deeply, savoring the sweet scent of the flowers that bloomed in the fields and the earthly aroma of the forest that surrounded her. The stranger watched with a smile as Anwoli's face lit up with joy and wonder. "You are free now, Anwoli," he said softly, "free to live your life without the burden of your affliction. Remember this day, and remember the kindness of a stranger who sought to bring you peace." Anwoli's face had concern written all over it. Her expressions were uncertain. She wanted to be happy, but this seemed too good and it confused her as to how she ought to have felt. With those words, the stranger rose from his seat and bid Anwoli farewell. He vanished into the shadow, leaving her standing in the warm light of the setting sun, tears of gratitude streaming down her cheeks. Her previous sadness mixed up with her sudden excitement and disbelief. She cried out the joy she had sought all her life. From that day onward, Anwoli's beauty shone even brighter, unmatched by the shadow of her former pain. Suitors once again flocked to her door, drawn by her radiant smile and the kindness that flowed from her heart. And as for the mysterious stranger who had brought her healing, his identity remained a mystery, his purpose unknown. Some whispered that he was a wandering magician, others a generous spirit in human appearance. But Anwuli knew the truth in her heart. He was a guardian angel sent to her in her darkest hour, a beacon of hope that had guided her out of the shadows and into the unquenchable light. And so, Anwuli's tale became a legend in the village, a story of beauty and kindness, of suffering and redemption. And though the memory of her affliction lingered like a distant dream, the scent of her newfound freedom wafted through the air, a sweet and gentle reminder of the girl who had conquered the darkness with nothing but her unwavering spirit and a touch of magic. And so, our closing word on this story is healing comes to us in the life at some point. There is always someone out there observing our afflictions, and help comes by way of divine providence. Never give up on life. Help is always around the corner, sooner or later. Where are you watching from? Give us a shout out in the comment section, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on your notifications for more interesting stories.